That's right! Welcome to the side of the ring because it's time for Ringside. Got a bunch of news lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen, so without further ado, we're just gonna get you! According to Fightful Select, there was a change to the gauntlet match on Raw this week. Originally, Bronson Reed was going to defeat Ricochet to start the match, with Sami Zayn coming in and winning it all from there. I am so glad that, I'm so glad that what they went with originally was what they decided to go with, because the moment, so JD and Ricochet start out, Ricochet beats JD, Bronson Reed comes out, Bronson Reed beats up Ricochet, Sami Zayn comes out, Sami beats Bronson, and then he beats Shinsuke, and then he beats Chad. After he hits Shinsuke with the haluva kick and pins him once clean, I said in my head, they are really giving this to him. They are really letting this man have it, because I don't know what it was about that particular exchange, because I thought it was fine, and Sami Zayn, the valiant babyface and all that, but once he hit, because in fairness though, he kicked out of a Kinshasa, so but then, not seeing Shinsuke not kick out of that, I was like, okay, they really are doing this. So I think if they had gone with what I just read, which was, him basically going from the start, I think that the whole Chad thing would have stung a little bit more, because you can tell that they could have given it to either one of them at that moment, and the crowd would have been perfectly fine with it, right? The crowd were hot for both Chad and Sami in that moment, and there were a lot of moments where, and you know what's funny? I knew who was going to win. And to be fair, I knew who was going to win, weeks before, but I still wanted Chad to win, 100%. I told you this. I was like, my first bet is Sami, my second bet is Nakamura, my third dark horse is Chad Gable, and I wanted him to win. So, he deserved that win, 100%, but it did need to go to Sami, right? Sami is the one that they've basically been alluding to this entire time, and maybe just based off of the way that things are going, they'll give something to Chad. I don't 100% know, but so I'm glad that they went with the original one, right? I'm glad that they went with the new one, the one they decided to go with instead of the original one, because man, that wouldn't have gone over well. It wouldn't have gone over well. Sami Zayn fighting back like that from way in the beginning. You know what I mean? Imagine Sami and Ricochet's position and winning it all. It's okay. So I'm glad they decided to go with what they went with. Next, on Wrestling Observer Live, Bryan Alvarez claimed, quote, there have been moves regarding Brock Lesnar, and, quote, there are movements to bring him back. That doesn't mean it will happen, but there are those who could be attempting to make it happen. Can I ask why? Can I just ask objectively why we're trying so hard to get Brock Lesnar back into, the umbrella of WWE? You have Omos. There's a bunch of people on the roster that you have right now, like Bronson Reed, where you can turn them into the big final boss Undertaker monster, right? You could change their music around and all that sort of stuff. There's so many different people that you could use to take Brock Lesnar's place. I don't specifically know why Brock Lesnar needs to be brought back. It just seems a little bit, you know what I mean? It's no, it has to be this one. It's okay, but why though? It's because this one, is important and it's significant. It's right. And I completely understand. I'm not taking away the significance that Brock Lesnar brings to the company. Why are we trying so hard to get him back in the company though? If he's involved in a very, triggering, very, very serious scandal / allegation type deal, wouldn't it be better to just sort of skirt him off to the side a little bit, wait until we can, because apparently now there's a bunch of other names that Vince has brought up, right? He's bringing out a bunch of other different names, apparently Stephanie and Nick Khan are involved in it now, if I remember correctly. So, this doesn't sound like it's going to be over anytime soon, right? So for them to be working so hard to try and bring Brock Lesnar back, it's I feel like you're going to be doing all that work for nothing. Because if something else comes out and Brock just so happens to be involved with it, you're going to have to get Brock out of there again, But I remember when this was just starting out, and I remember Meltzer was the general consensus is that everybody's kind of waiting for this to blow over, And it's okay, maybe not the advice that I would go with, right? But if that's your thing, that's your thing, So, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I've said this about, a couple occasions I've said this. I genuinely don't know, because I don't know why. They're really trying to let's move him back in here. I don't know why. I don't know what for. putting him on TV now rather than like a couple months down the line is a terrible idea, so I hope they don't do that, right? They're not going to put him on TV, right? They're not going to try and squeeze him in before Mania. There's no way. I hope they don't do it. So I genuinely don't know any other reason why they would do it. So, I mean, I guess keep your eyes peeled. I don't know. Moving right along, during a Monopoly event Q&A, Mandy Rose claims she's not done with wrestling and could return if it was the right time. There's not really much to say. It's entirely up to her. I don't know if she is thinking about coming back to WWE. It's entirely plausible. We're in a different era now, so I feel like they could negotiate a couple things here and there. Although, wasn't she was in the Triple H era when she did all that stuff, and the reason why she got kicked out is because she flashed a little bit too much titty, and she got in trouble for it, if I remember correctly. She was definitely part of the Triple H, I think. I think it was like right before, or like it was when Triple H was like kind of in charge, but like McMahon could still jump in at any time, if I remember. I don't remember entirely, to be honest. It happened a while ago. I mean, it all really depends on where she goes, right? I mean, for all we know, she could end up with AEW, right? So she didn't really allude to anything specific or where she wanted to go. She just said, hey, if it's the right time. So it sounds like she's not in a hurry, which listen, I'm not surprised. The money that I'm sure she is drowning in just off of her OnlyFans alone, and I'm sure that she has other lucrative business opportunities in the pipeline as we are speaking. I doubt it's just OnlyFans, but I mean, if it was just OnlyFans, just by itself, I'm sure she'd be perfectly fine. Like, I'm sure she's doing fine. Nothing to worry about. Opportunities just falling out of the walls here, right? Wrestling is like the least of her priorities. So that's why that's what I assume the right time means, you know? Like, oh, I'm not really, trying to rush back into the ring right now, which I completely understand. Listen, great wrestler, great on the mic. So if she does come back, it'd be great. Love to see her back. But at the end of the day, it's all down to what she wants to do. So, I mean, listen, do your thing. Keep your eyes peeled, and if she shows up, then great. Finally, also from Monopoly events, Shelton Benjamin said the door is open to signing with AEW. The expectation remains that he will end up there. Now, I already did talk about this. I actually talked about this in the last episode. And my biggest worry was that he was going to show up and they were going to have him involved in maybe like one storyline, and then that was pretty much going to be it. I say that, but you know what? I could always be wrong, and I more so want to look at it from more of an optimistic standpoint. He goes in. Now, obviously, the title scene is the way that it is right now, so to ask him to hold the title would be a little bit much, just depending on how the storylines are currently going at the moment. So I don't know what to expect from there. All I'm gonna say is that if he does show up, the last thing that I want is for him to show up and they've got him in one particular storyline and it's really not all that compelling, and then he doesn't really do a whole lot after that. He's in a couple casino battle royales, he pokes around on like a backstage Rampage segment or something. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that that's getting through. The general consensus that I have is that I just don't want these guys to show up and then we kind of just don't hear or see from them for a while, and they're just another guy on the roster, like way down there and everything. And it's just like, I don't want that to happen. I would rather them, be prominently featured on TV for at least like a month or two, just to sort of establish them, right? Put them in a nice little spot within the division. That's what I would do. That's just my opinion. I say all that, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen with him when he does it. Well, if he does, it was the expectation. It sounds like it sounds like he's going straight there. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's more so going to AEW than he's not going. You know what I mean? So, again, could always be wrong. Gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, if he does end up going there, hopefully it's not just like a one and done type deal. Hopefully he's actually involved in like some pretty prominent storylines. What do we talk about? All right, so I'm glad that they went with the change and that they didn't go with it originally, because I would have been way more upset if Sammy would have survived from like, what was it, like the second? Because yeah, well, no, Bronson technically was the third. he was the third entrant, but he was like the second guy to come out. You get the point, okay? I'm glad the way they did with what they did. I don't know why they're trying so hard to bring Lesnar back. I don't know what they're trying to bring Lesnar back for, to be totally honest with you. I mean, there's not really anything going on right now that readily involves him. So, like, why are they trying so hard to bring him back? You know? That's why I'm like, they're trying so hard. Are they trying to get him at WrestleMania? I hope not, right? Everything's still going on. If anything, everything is still, like, unfolding, right? So, maybe not the best idea to try and bring him back, at least right now. I'd wait a couple months. For what it's worth, PW Insider says all VIP signings at WWE's The World event in Philadelphia for WrestleMania week are sold out, except for Charlotte Flair's session, which makes sense. Charlotte's injured. No one's really going to go there. You know, sucks for Charlotte, obviously, but, you know, duh, I'm not going to buy a ticket if she's not going to be there, right? I don't know what's going to happen at this World event type deal. I mean, it's already, like, gonna be like at WrestleMania essentially, so like you're just there just for the fanfare and all that, right? They also say that at least one more Hall of Fame inductee is expected for this year's class. There's also been talk that legacy inductees could return this year. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what a legacy inductee is. I'm gonna have to look that up. So far, Paul Heyman, Bull Nakano, US Express. There's someone, I swear to you, there's someone else, I think. I don't fully remember who it is, but I know there's an extra person and I can't remember who they are. So Mandy Rose claims she's not done with wrestling. Listen, again, she's making oodles of money. Doubt she even remembers how to spell wrestling. She's been away and been making so much more money. But listen, if she wants to come back, I have absolutely no problem with it. I don't know where she's going to end up, right? I'm sure she knows now to keep everything in her pants this time, okay? So that she doesn't get, I know that sounds, but like, that's literally why she got in trouble. That's why she got in trouble. Because she showed too much skin on her OnlyFans account, and they fired her. So, she literally, you know, it would be advised, you know, to not, you know, whip it all out. And Shelton Benjamin with AEW, it sounds like that's where they're going with. It sounds like both parties are kind of on board with it. No one's really like saying no. So I guess, at least from what I can tell, it sounds like it's just down to just, hey, you know, when are you going to slide the paper across the table? That sounds, I could be wrong. I mean, he may not even go to AEW. You know, he could re-sign with WWE. I can't see it in the future, but that's what it seems like so far. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.